بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهديه واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yesterday we discussed with you an introduction to the Battle of the Trench, and we spoke about the fuel of this battle, those who ignited its spark and who usually contribute in igniting similar sparks for chaos, mayhap, turmoil, and all kinds and different types of wars worldwide throughout history. And these are the Jews. The Prophet ﷺ, when he first came to Medina, he was keen on coexisting. He could have, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, rampaged all of the Jews at once and kicked them out. But he did not do that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was always positive in his thinking. He was always positive in his actions. And he was hopeful that Allah may guide them. The books of history tell us that the Prophet ﷺ, when he arrived to Medina, the first thing he did was to meet with the different tribes of the Jews and to sign covenants and treaties with them so that they can work and coexist on a mutual platform. And one of these treaties was a treaty that was signed by the Prophet ﷺ and the Jews of Bani Auf. And it stated on a number of issues, among them that the Jews of Bani Auf are a nation of their own. With the Muslims, they have their own religion and the Muslims have their own religion. So we do not interfere with one another. The Jews are responsible for their own financial matters, and so are the Muslims. So they are not interlinked. Each one has their own budget. Upon the points of agreement that each one should give victory, should assist in war anyone who fights the people who signed this treaty. So if someone attacks the Muslims, the Jews should stand with them. And if someone attacks the Jews, the Muslims would defend them. Number 4, that they have the right of mutual advice and being sincere, as long as it is in goodness and avoiding evil. And number 5, that no one takes the burden after his allies. So if the Jews were allied with another tribe and this tribe did something against the Muslims, the Jews are not held accountable. And likewise, if an ally of the Muslims did something to the Jews, the Muslims are not held accountable. They have to avenge the oppressed, and this is number 6. Number 7, if the Jews were to be attacked, they have to provide financial assistance to the Muslims in order for them to be able to defend them. And that the boundaries of Medina and what's inside Medina is totally prohibited for those who signed this treaty and covenant. So they don't attack one another inside. And whenever there is a dispute, then they should refer it back to the Quran and to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that none of the two parties would stand with or next to the idol worshippers of Mecca, because they are the blatant enemies of Islam and of the Muslims. And so on. So this was one of the treaties signed with this tribe. There were similar treaties with the other tribes of the Jews, but it all illustrates to us the keenness and the sincerity of the Prophet ﷺ to coexist with the Jews, to the extent that he so often used to visit them wherever they are, give them da'wah, socialize with them, try his level best to attract them to Islam. We know that the Muslims coexisted, as we will soon hear, when women used to go and buy from the Jews, from their markets. The Muslims used to mix with the Jews and buy from them and sell to them in their markets. Uthman ibn Affan, may Allah be pleased with him, bought the well of Ruma, a water well that the Muslims needed to drink from, and the Jew would not let them. So Uthman bought it and gave it and made it open to all Muslims to drink from. The Prophet himself ﷺ had a Jew servant. And in the Sahih, when this young boy fell sick, the Prophet ﷺ visited him, and he was terminally ill. He was seriously ill. And the Prophet visited this young Jew boy, though he was a Jew. And the Prophet stood next to his head, ﷺ, and he called him to Islam. And the boy looked at his father, and his father said to his son, "Obey Abul Qasim, obey the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ." So the boy embraced Islam, accepted Islam, and he died. The Prophet came out ﷺ with happiness apparent on his face, saying, "Praise be to Allah, whom saved him from hellfire through me." So there were good relationships from the Muslim side to the Jews. They were trying to coexist. And by the way, this is the case until today, all over the world, not to the Jews, but to all other ethnicities and religions. The Muslims are always the peaceful ones. They are the ones who stretch their hands. And don't be fooled and don't be brainwashed with what the media portray in a very small, minute minority worldwide, whether it is in Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia, Nigeria, Yemen, wherever. They are not even a 0.00001 of the population of the Muslims. They don't represent Islam. They only appeared 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, due to the oppression and the aggression of the Crusaders against the Muslims. So they came up being driven by the Western intelligence until today. They fuel them, they pay for it, and they support them from behind curtains. And this is why when you find a moderate person, da'i, scholar, wanting to go to Europe, to UK, to the US, to call people to the real Islam, hurdles and obstacles are put in front of him, and most likely he would not get a visa. But if he is a fundamentalist, if he is an extremist, if he is fanatic, and every Muslim knows that this guy is not representing Islam, they'd give him a visa. Why? Because through him, they can attack the Muslims on their soil. They can bombard their Islamic centers, their masjids. They can interfere into their subjects that they teach at school, in their Quran schools, in their elementary or high school. They can lay their hands on that. because of that extremist terrorist, whom they opened the door for, whom they had given money and support to spread his ideas. And also, if he was an extreme Sufi, and he has nothing to do with the Quran and the Sunnah except to to give people tranquilizers and to sedate them, in a sense, with his beautiful talk that is not related to the Quran and Sunnah. It all deals with the heart and how connected you are to Allah Azza wa Jal, etc. They would also accommodate him, because then they can manipulate the Muslims and westernize them and make them as they wish. This is the norm. So the Prophet was trying, alayhi salatu wasalam, to coexist. But it was the Jews that refused that. They refused that through their continuous attack, not only on the Muslims, even on Allah Azza wa Jal, which is shocking and alarming, because nothing in the life of Muslims is more important than Allah, than the Quran, and than the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Jews started saying bad things about Allah. And they used to say this at the time of Moses, at the time of Isa, Jesus. So this is nothing new. And they said that Allah is poor and we are rich. Allah has heard what these people say, that Allah is poor and we are rich. They even used to attack the Prophet ﷺ and abuse him verbally, as in the Sahih. Whenever they came to greet the Prophet ﷺ, they used to say, Assalamu alaikum. The Islamic greeting is Assalamu alaikum, with an L, which means peace be upon you. But the Jews used to manipulate and change and alter the word. So it is Assam. And Assam in Arabic means death. So whenever they greeted the Prophet ﷺ, they used to say, death be upon you. But they say it in a way that it is ambiguous, it's misleading. And the Prophet ﷺ would always reply to them by saying, Wa alaikum. He would not say, peace also be upon you and the mercy of Allah. No. Whatever a non-Muslim says to you, you say, Wa alaikum. Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, once heard this and could not tolerate. So she said, may the death and curse and anger of Allah be upon you, you Jews. And the Prophet ﷺ reprimanded her by saying, Mah, ya Aisha. Meaning, refrain of what you're saying. What is this, what you're doing? She said, O Prophet of Allah, don't you hear what they are saying? They're hoping and wishing for death for you. The Prophet ﷺ, with his big heart, said, Aisha, don't you hear what I say to them back? I say, and upon you. Allah would answer my supplication against them, meaning that the death would be upon them, and He would not answer their supplication against me. The believer, the Prophet goes on to say, ﷺ, the believer is not abusive and does not use profanity or vulgar language, and he doesn't curse. So they used to do bad things to the Prophet ﷺ, and he used to tolerate them. He used to deal with them nicely, hoping that they may change, hoping that something would click and that they would behave in a sense. We know that the Battle of Badr took place on the second year of Hijrah. So after the Prophet had won, alayhi salatu wasalam, and the army of Allah was victorious, the Jews did not swallow this well. It didn't go down the throat well. So every time they met the Prophet ﷺ, and he used to call them, and he used to remind them to abide by the points mentioned in the treaties signed with them, they would mock him and say, don't feel so boastful. You met your people on the battlefield and they have no experience in fighting. If you were to meet us, we would show you what real fighting is. So they were trying to provoke the Prophet ﷺ. But the Prophet ﷺ preached the Muslims and the whole world how to honor your covenants, how to honor your contracts and words. And if you read the Quran, you would find this in many places. O you who believe, fulfill your covenants and contracts. أوفوا بالعقود. The first ayah in chapter 5, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us to fulfill our covenants and our contracts and our obligations with the others. Beautiful surah. And it shows you that Islam is built on that. You never break a treaty. You never go back on your word. You never break a promise. In our religion, this is part of our religion. It's a sign of hypocrisy to break a promise. And the Prophet ﷺ, whenever he dispatched an expedition or an army, he would always advise him, do not break the covenant of Allah Azza wa Jal. If you give your word, if you give your commitment to disbelievers, to non-Muslims, abide by it. Because whatever would happen would go and backfire against Islam and the commitment of the Muslims to their religion. So the Prophet ﷺ was the best to portray such commitment. Yet the Jews kept on provoking him. Now, the first tribe that broke the treaty with the Prophet ﷺ was Banu Qaynuqa'. These were the ones who used to, after the Battle of Badr, say such irresponsible phrases and statements to the Prophet ﷺ. Your people are not brave enough. If you were to fight us, you will find people standing in your face and giving you hell, sort of to speak. After the Battle of Badr, they went crazy because of the victory of the Muslims and of Islam. So they started behaving in a way that was not in accordance to the treaty, till that day that they made the cardinal sin. They made the mistake that cost them a lot. And this was when a woman went to buy and sell some of her gold, a Muslim woman. And this shows you how the Muslims were trying to coexist, that a woman would go alone to the market of these disbelievers to buy and sell, because the signs and the indications that everything is fine, you have no problem with that, we have a treaty with them, you can go and deal with them. So she went there, and a number of the Jews in that market started to abuse her physically. And that is, started to abuse her verbally. And some of them even tried to force her to unveil, to take off her face veil. And she refused. So one of them, with his slight movement of the hand, managed to tie something of her clothes to her back. So the minute she stood up, her backside was exposed. So not only her face, but her whole body was exposed through this treacherous trick of that Jew. And they started laughing, and the woman shouted out of shame and out of disgrace due to what this or these group of Jews did to her. So a Muslim man was passing by. When we saw this, he jumped at the person who did it and he killed him. The Muslim was hot-blooded. For such an atrocity, that man deserved to be killed. So the Jews collaborated and killed the Muslim. And when this came to the Prophet ﷺ, then they have breached the covenant and they have broke the treaty that was with the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet came to them to negotiate with them, to talk to them, but they closed all their doors and they took refuge in their fortresses. And they had big castle-like and fortresses that was not easy to penetrate. So the Prophet ﷺ besieged their tribe for 8 days to 15 days, and then Allah threw fear in their hearts. And this is one of the beautiful specialties given from Allah to our Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet said in an authentic hadith that Allah Azza wa Jal has given me 5 things over all prophets and messengers, that I am the only one who was given this. Among them was, I was made victorious by awe, by fear. And this would be the distance of a whole month. So before I reach an area, a month before that, Allah would throw awe and fear in their hearts from me. And this is apparent, and this is up till today. Armies that fight real Muslims, they are scared, terrified. Though they are, the Muslims that is, below them in arms and weaponry and manpower, but subhanallah, it is Allah who gives victory to whomever He wishes. So when the Muslims are real and they are sincere, Allah Azza wa Jal would throw fear and awe in the hearts of their enemies. So the Prophet ﷺ tried his level best, but they refused. It was Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, one of their men, or one of the Jews, who used to say poetry, criticizing and ridiculing the Muslims, and provoking the idol worshippers and reminding them of their dead people, of their loved ones who died in the Battle of Badr, so that they would have the urge to come and fight again and to annihilate Islam and the Muslims. The Prophet ﷺ surrounded them, besieged their villages. Ubadah ibn al-Samit, may Allah be pleased with him, who was one of their allies, he gave their pledge of allegiance back to them. And he said, I'm not their ally anymore. When they decided to surrender, the head of the hypocrites, who was another ally of them, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, interceded and said, O Prophet of Allah, don't punish them, let them free for me. And he kept on insisting and insisting and persisting until the Prophet ﷺ gave them to him, and they were extradited, they were kicked out of Medina to the borders of the Levant countries, to Asham. Now, this was one incident that took place in Banu Qaynuqa. If the Prophet ﷺ would have killed them all, that wouldn't have been a big thing, because they collaborated on fighting the Muslims. They were the first to attack, and instead of delivering the one who did this attack, they all defended him. So they needed to be collaterally punished. And this is what the Prophet did, alayhi salatu wasalam. After the Battle of Uhud, and this was a year later, on the 3rd year of Hijrah, another tribe started doing the same. But this time, it was more devilish. This time, it was more evil. The tribe of Bani Nudair, or Bani Nadir. This tribe, there are 2 stories. One says that the Prophet came to them, ﷺ, seeking a financial loan so that he would pay the blood money of 2 killed by mistake by a Muslim. So the Prophet wanted to give the blood money to the tribes of these two people who were killed by mistake. And they promised the Prophet ﷺ that they will give him and help him with this blood money, and asked him to wait. And then they collaborated together and said, you will never find a better situation to assassinate him than this. So order one of your men to go on top of the building and take a big rock and drop it on his head, and then he will be dead and it would be all over. It will be finished. The second story was that they sent to the Prophet ﷺ, asking him to come and talk to them about Islam. So they said, come in 30 people of your companions to meet 30 of our Jews and scholars. So the Prophet was happy and decided to go. But then they sent him another message saying that if you come with 30, we will not be able to communicate because there are so many people talking at the same time. Better more, you come with only 3, and we will send only 3. And the 3 they had sent, they had knives and swords hidden, so that the minute they see the Prophet ﷺ, they would assassinate him and those with him. Now in both cases, Allah Azza wa Jal revealed to His Messenger that this is what they're planning for. So he immediately went back to Medina and gathered his soldiers, gathered his army, and besieged Banu Nadir. And they were shocked. They tried their level best to wait, to be firm and steadfast, and not to surrender, because they had huge fortresses and strong. But again, Allah Azza wa Jal threw awe and fear in their hearts. How did this all end? This is what we will talk, inshallah, about either after the break or on Saturday when we meet again. So the story is long, and it has to be looked into in a very tactical fashion. The Prophet never broke his covenants, ﷺ. It was always the Jews. So whatever you hear from the media about how the Prophet dealt with the Jews, go back to the books of history and look at the full picture, and you will find that he never treated them unfairly, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah we'll be right back.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wherever you may be around the world, may the peace of ever-compelling Creator be unto all of you. To our Muslim brothers and sisters in faith, and likewise non-Muslims around the world, we bring into you, wherever you may be, the unique signs that Prophet, peace of Almighty Allah, Muhammad be upon him, taught the whole world. Oftentimes, we see some people reciting Quran over and over, but they, however, reciting it differently. People sometimes confuse, why is that? Why they're doing that? Why this Imam reciting this way and this reciting differently? And what is the meaning of the hadith? Quran has been revealed based on 7 methods. Do you know the depth of it? Do you know the real meaning of it? If you don't know, for the first time over there and here in Al-Huda TV, we're presenting to you. So be with us. I will be your host, Ukasha Kameni, step by step until you grasp all the information why we have 7 methods of recitation of Quran. Remain blessed. May Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your family. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto all of you.
Ramadan, welcome holy month Ramadan.
Are you pregnant and wondering whether it's safe to fast Ramadan? Would you like to learn ways to manage your diabetes in Ramadan? Do you work out and want to know how to maintain your fitness and your health in Ramadan? Would you like to learn ways to ensure you get good nutrition during the fasting month? What does science say about fasting? For all these questions and more, join me, Ali Coleman, for a special program that we'll have for the entire month of Ramadan. Every day during the month of Ramadan, Ramadan for better health. Stay healthy and stay tuned.
Ramadan, welcome holy month Ramadan.
Ramadan, Ramadan, Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. We have Osama from Kuwait.
Hello.
Yes, Osama.
First, I wanted to thank you for all your good work and your program because it's very good and we benefit from it. And then I wanted to say, people call you and give you a hard time about, Yemen and such. You should answer them and tell them they are Rafidis. They should be killed because they are not Muslims. They're infidels. And Saudi Arabia has the right to kill them and their children and their women because they are not Muslims. They're smearing our world. They should be killed, and killing them makes us go to heaven. And this is the best way to do what we're supposed to do. We should kill the children and women so they wouldn't be any next generations of Rafidis like Yemenis and such. I'm telling you, if they call you, you should answer them and tell them.
Okay, Osama. Jazakallah khair. I got your message, and I will answer, inshallah, what you had said. Brother Osama from Kuwait is saying that the people that call and saying about the atrocities so claimed and about the killing of the innocents in Yemen, etc., and the coalition air raids, and he's saying that we should answer them and say to them that this is justifiable, and not only that, we should annihilate all of the Houthis, all of the Rafidas, kill their children, kill their women, burn their land to the ground. And this is extremely wrong, Brother Osama. I know you have good intention, but Akhi, what difference would that make us from them? What do we rely on? What drives us in this world? The Quran and the Sunnah. What did the Prophet say ﷺ, about killing the women and children? He was outraged when he saw a woman killed. And he said, who killed her? This did not have any right to be killed. It was unlawful. So in Islam, we cannot kill a child. We cannot kill a woman. We cannot kill an elder. We cannot kill a priest or a man of religion. This is what Abu Bakr used to send and dispatch his armies accordingly. This was the advice of the Prophet ﷺ and the instruction of the Prophet ﷺ. So we should not go overboard and we should not go to extreme. We have a legitimate cause and reason to fight the Houthis because they are Rafidah, because they are the aggressors. they are killing the Sunnis, and especially the Salafis and Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. They have no boundaries. They have done atrocities, and it's all visible and available. But this does not give us the right to go overboard and say they are kafir. And hence, anyone related to them, we can kill, we can blow them up, we can do this. No, this is extremely extreme and not in accordance to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in the Quran, وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا. If there were two factions among the believers who were to fight, then you have to reconcile and arbitrate between them. Not that one of them is kafir. So this doesn't mean that we don't say that the Houthis don't have wrong ideas. If the beliefs and Houthis, similar to the beliefs of the Rafidah of Al-Ithna Ashariya or Al-Imamiyya, which state clearly in the books, and they believe in it, that the Quran is distorted, that their awliya and imams are below the messengers but above the prophets of Allah, etc. All of this is kufr. This is blatant kufr. Their slandering of Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, and cursing of Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman, and the rest of the companions, all of this is kufr. It's clear. You don't doubt that these are kafir. However, we don't give, we don't brush them, paint them all with the same brush. We don't give them a label to all. Each, we say that the group is, but each individual has to be looked specifically and individually before judging. So what you have said, Akhi, I do not accept at all. We cannot kill their children, we cannot kill their women, we cannot discriminately kill innocent people. The bombardments and the bombing campaign and the airstrikes are, I don't know, surgically made. I think this is the terminology they use, and it's precise, and it avoids civilians. It's only to be pointed at the army of the enemy, the Houthis, and those with them from the hypocrites. But we do not give an open check for takfir, otherwise we would be like them. We have Basira from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamtullah.
Please, I need to make a clarification.
Yes.
Back in my country, when you know a Muslim child by their name, Muslim names. But when I come here and I ask people, like people from Pakistan, India, what is your child name? They tell me their local name. And I say, what is the Islamic name? They say, no, the local name has beautiful meaning, so there's no need for an Islamic name. So I want to clarify, is it true that when you have local names, everybody has local names that have beautiful meaning? Doesn't it necessary for you to add Islamic name or Arabic name to it? Did you understand that?
Yes. Any other question?
Yes. Can I make Umrah for my dad?
Is he alive?
No.
Okay.
He's not.
Okay.
And if the answer is yes, how? Is it after making mine, I will make his, or you can please explain if it is yes?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We have Muhammad from Saudi.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Salamtullah.
Do we get 24-hour protection after eating 7 ajwa dates, or is it valid till sunset? And how long do we have to refrain from drinking water after eating ajwa to get this protection? And how can we get this protection in Ramadan, since morning food intake is restricted while fasting?
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
Thank you.
Basira from Saudi Arabia said that when she came to this country, people said that you have to have an Islamic name. So is it correct if I have a normal name that has a beautiful meaning, but it is not Arabic, and it's not sort of Islamic? Is this permissible? The answer is yes. There's no problem, none whatsoever. If a woman's name in her country is Susan, or Jeanette, or whatever, and she accepts Islam, does she have to change her name into Hind or into Sumayya, etc.? No. As long as the meaning is not haram, there's nothing wrong in keeping your name as it is. We have Shamim from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh Hassan.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh Hassan, in one of your episodes, you mentioned the treatment of evil eye by throwing the wudu water on the person if the person is known who has given the evil eye.
Yes.
But if the person is unknown who has given the evil eye, what is the treatment for it?
Okay.
That is all, and thank you very much.
You're quite welcome, Akhi. Basira says that, is it permissible for me to perform Umrah on behalf of my deceased father? Yes, definitely. She says, what's the format? Should I do it first for myself and then? No. As long as you performed Umrah once in a lifetime for yourself, there is no problem in that to perform Umrah on behalf of deceased. There's nothing wrong in that, inshallah. But if you did not perform Umrah on behalf of yourself ever in your life, this cannot be. So if you want to go and perform Umrah now on behalf of your deceased father, you say, Labbaik Allahumma Umrah an Abi. I giving talbiyah on behalf of my father, and just go, and it is accepted, inshallah. Jabbar from Kuwait.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Ramadan Mubarak, Ya Sheikh.
Jazakallah khair.
For Muslims, Ramadan is in fact a month of peace with God, and I would like to talk about peace. That Saudi coalition.
Okay, the same. Jabbar, apparently he calls from Afghanistan and from Kuwait, mashallah. Again, the Saudi coalition, again and again. It's waste of time. You can see the rerun, akhi, and get the answer. Faiz from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Samtullah.
Sheikh, I wanted to ask, in Surah Muzammil, the last verse, I want to ask about the brief explanation of Allah says to give a goodly loan to him, to ask to know a brief meaning of about that. And second question is the use of beads. I used to hear some relatives saying that it is a practice of the Jews, so it is not good to use it to make dhikr.
Okay, the first question I did not understand, akhi.
In Surah Muzammil,
okay,
the last verse, there is Allah says to lend a goodly loan to him.
Okay.
Yeah, to know a brief understanding about it.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
And thirdly, my brother wanted to know, he travels he lives in Jubail, so he travels to work up and down 400 kilometers a day.
Okay.
So can he shorten the prayers or he should pray full?
How many kilometers?
He travels one way 200 kilometers.
From Jubail to where?
Ras Al Khair.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
Okay, sir.
Hayyakallah akhi. We have Rihana from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Ramadan Mubarak, Sheikh, to you and all the Muslims all around the world.
Ameen.
I have two questions, Sheikh. First one is, my sister is about to get married. She is a doctor, and there is a guy who is a doctor also and handsome, but he is not so religious. And one boy is extremely religious, but the girl says, I don't like his looks. So we are preferring the girl to marry the highly religious one, but she tells she doesn't like his face. So what to do in this case?
Okay.
And my second question is this, Tala al-Badru alayna, the song we say that Prophet ﷺ, when he went to Medina, small girls, they were singing it. Is it authentic or not? Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Okay, Muhammad from Saudi Arabia says about the 7 dates ajwa. There's a hadith where the Prophet says, whoever eats early in the morning 7 dates from ajwa date of Medina, then Allah would protect him from sorcery, from magic, from a spell, and from poison. And we believe that the hadith is authentic, and scholars differed. Is this specifically a feature of ajwa, dates of Medina, or can it be any ajwa from anywhere, or can it be any date from anywhere? It's a difference of opinion among scholars. I personally believe that it is only specifically related to ajwa of Medina. Now he says that, is it a 24-hour protection? The answer is yes. The Prophet said, it is to be taken in the morning. So this is a 24-hour protection. And how long can we not drink water afterwards? You can drink water afterwards immediately without any problem. And how to do it in Ramadan? It seems that you have to do it before you do your imsak. So before the adhan of Fajr, you take it, and this does the job with the grace of Allah, insha'Allah. Umair from the Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Samtullah.
Sheikh, I have a question. If we do wuzu, for how long, if we wear socks after doing the wuzu, for how long the wuzu can sustain after wearing the socks? I mean, people say that you just have to do masa over the socks so that your wuzu is there for 24 hours. So I just want to reconfirm from you what is Sharia ruling.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
Jazakallah, jazakallah.
Mrs. Asim from Pakistan.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Samtullah.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Yes.
May I ask them?
Yes.
The first is that do we have to say salutations after using the word he and his for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him?
Do you have to say what?
for example, I say that he or his, so do I have to put sallallahu alaihi wasallam after he and his also, or only after Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him's name?
Okay. And
Okay.
second? Okay.
And the second question is about the ruling of about prize bonds. Prize bonds.
What is that?
Prize bonds that you get a ticket and you have a number on it, and if the number is announced that you are having, then you get a prize money for that.
How did you get the ticket?
You can get it from the market or someplace like that.
Yani you buy it.
Yeah, you buy it and then you're supposed to see if your number is the same number that is being announced on the TV
So
or
this
in
is
the news.
this is lottery.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lottery. Yeah.
Why is it kind of? Why isn't it lottery?
I think because I don't know. I would like you to.
Okay, I will answer you inshallah.
Yeah, because I'm not clear about it, so yeah.
I will answer inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
وجزاكم. Abu Abdullah from Algiers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Ramadan Mubarak.
And to you as well, Jazakallah khair.
Thank you. I would like to ask about a program on Huda TV. It's called the Ramadan Quiz. Some scholars, Allah Alam, say that maybe particular contests may involve gambling. I would like to hear your opinion about this matter, inshallah.
What is the program called?
Ramadan Quiz.
Ramadan Quiz. Okay, what is wrong with it?
I would like to find out. Some people say that participating in particular contests, whereby you may call in or you buy a ticket or something like to get a prize, may be considered as gambling. So
is it?
Does this?
Okay, is it on Huda TV?
It's on Huda TV, yes.
Okay, I have no idea, but I will answer you, inshallah. Don't worry.
Inshallah.
Hayyak Allah, akhi. Barakallah feek. Shamim said that I mentioned a couple of days ago that the medicine for and the cure for evil eye. If someone looks at me and says, "Wow, look at his health," and I felt sick, what's the best remedy? The best remedy, if I know that individual who said this, and this happened with Sahal ibn Hanif, may Allah be pleased with him, in the hadith, where one of the companions saw him taking a shower, and he looked at his skin, of course not from the awrah because he was covered, but he looked at his shoulder and said, "Wow, I didn't see such skin, not even on a virgin, because so soft and tender," and the man immediately fell on the ground. And people started visiting him. So the Prophet said, "Do you suspect, do you accuse anyone?" They said, "Yes, we accuse him." So the Prophet was very angry with him, and he said, "Why, when you saw something you liked, you did not say, 'May Allah bless it, Tabarakallah, Allahumma barik'?" And he ordered him to perform wudu. And he ordered him to wash the inside of his waist wrapper or apron or izar. And then he ordered this water to collect it and then to pour it on top of the man's head, and he was cured instantly on the spot. Now, the question is, if I do not know who gave me the evil eye, in this case, you have to do ruqya. And the best ruqya, and I have practiced this, and I have seen people practicing it, and it works, that you bring Zamzam water, you recite Al-Fatiha 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, odd numbers, and you blow after each time. You recite Ayat al-Kursi, the last 2 ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah, and the last 3 chapters of the Quran. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدْ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. The same number of times, and you blow, and then you drink a lot of it, you wash yourself, you wash the affected area, and inshallah, this would cure it. Ahmad from Afghanistan.
Assalamu alaikum. Sheikh, it's good to talk to you again. I called yesterday. You said something about ISIS and Wahhabism and Al-Salafism. Can I ask a couple of questions?
Yes, أخي, تفضل.
Thank you so much. All right. Yes. Actually, I've done many different searches around, and I've read a couple of books and I've searched some networks, and I found out that ISIS has actually the idea of Wahhabism and Salafism and the strict ideologies of them. I know that many people are going to be shocked hearing this, but they have strict ideologies in Wahhabism and Salafism. They have literal interpretations of the religion.
I got the message, Ahmed.
Wahhabism and Salaf.
Ahmed, I got the message. If you have a specific question, that's good. But to put your point, this is a Q&A question. It's not a debate session. So I will answer your question, inshallah, if there is time. Ahmed from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamtullah.
Yes, Sheikh, we can perform Umrah alone. And if my husband is busy, I can go for Umrah alone.
Where are you from?
From Makkah.
You're from Mecca?
Yeah.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
He's busy, he don't have time, so just I want to go alone.
Any more questions?
Okay, thank you, Sheikh.
You're welcome. Faiz from Saudi Arabia says that the last ayah of Surah Al-Muzammil, where Allah Azza wa Jal says that you give a loan to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The last verse of Surah Al-Muzammil. And what kind of loan is this? This is in referring to giving charity. So whoever gives charity and spends in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who accepts it and who magnifies it for him. Zahra from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Please, I have two questions.
Yes, make it quick, please.
I have a question of sujood while reading Quran. Do you have to say Subhan Rabbi al-Ala?
In the recitation prostration?
Yes.
Okay.
And the second question is about masturbation. Is a man allowed to masturbate while he has a wife, but he masturbates all the time?
Okay. Alone or with the wife?
No, alone.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
Okay.
You're quite welcome. So Faiz's question, number 2, he heard that using the prayer beads is from the Jews and that it is not permissible to use it. This is wrong. It is permissible to use it, but it is not recommended. There were narrations that the companions used to count their tasbih on the dates, seeds, etc., and some small stones. So this is permissible, but it's not recommended because the Prophet ordered us ﷺ to make tasbih with our fingers, and he told us that they will speak on the Day of Judgment. His third question, that was his brother travels from Jubail 200 kilometers each way. So this is a total of 400 kilometers. Can he shorten the prayer? Usually such a distance is a traveling distance, in the sense that if you ask people in Jubail, a person traveling to that area, would he be traveling? They said, yeah, definitely. This is not a picnic. So yes, he can shorten and combine the prayers. Rihanna from Saudi Arabia says that her sister, 2 proposed to her. One is a doctor who is handsome but not practicing, and one who is practicing and religious but not handsome. So who should she choose? Definitely she must not choose the not practicing person, because he would turn her life into hell. Now he looks handsome, she may enjoy it, but in religious aspects she will deteriorate and she will go away from the line from the straight path. Therefore, I do not advise her. As for the person who's not handsome, maybe she should reconsider, because the beauty is within. And so many people will take a look at them at first and we don't like them. But if you take another look, you would find that there is something in them that attracts you. So maybe she should reconsider, Allah knows best. Is the chant, Tala al-Badru alayna, authentic? The answer is no. Because even in the wordings of the chant, they're mentioning Thaniyat al-Wada'. And Thaniyat al-Wada' is to the north. And the Prophet migrated from the south. So even the wordings are wrong. Umair says the issue of wiping over the socks, and when does it start? It starts after you wipe. So if I make wudu and I put on my socks, now I'm eligible to wipe of it. But I don't break my wudu. and I go on and pray Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha with the same wudu of Fajr, hypothetically speaking. And then I go to bed. When I wake up the following morning and my socks are still on, I can make wudu and wipe. And from that moment, I count 24 hours. So this might take too long, but the wiping actually starts. You have to, after 24 hours, stop wiping, and Allah knows best. Mrs. Asim says, do we have to say, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad, when we use the pronouns like, he went to Medina, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or should we say, the Prophet went to Medina, and then say the salutation? No, it is not a must, but yani, are we that stingy that we don't want to say sallallahu alaihi wasallam whenever we say his name or a pronoun? One should say this. Lottery is totally prohibited. And this is when you buy a ticket and you enter a draw. And you may lose the $1 you spent on the ticket, and you may gain $1 million a prize. This is haram. But if one buys something from a shop unintentionally, and they give him a ticket for the draw, and he did not intend to get it, this is halal, insha'Allah, because he didn't buy it and he didn't pay for it. Abu Abdullah from Algiers, he says that there is a program on Huda called Ramadan Quiz, and there is gambling in it. I don't know, I've never heard of this program, and I very much doubt that there is gambling. See, if they just call and answer questions and they get a prize, this is a gift. Unless the number they're calling at is an 800 number or a 700 number, where the company charges a lot of money for the call duration. Now, this is gambling, because you're spending more than a normal call would cost you, and you're spending this much because you're hoping to win something. But I very much doubt that Huda does this. Ahmed from Afghanistan, about Wahhabi, Salafis and Daesh. Akhi, it's a total different ideology. The Muslims don't give takfir. Salafis and Wahhabis don't give takfir. Daesh, ISIS give takfir not only to those who make major sins, even to those who make minor sins, even to those who are attributed to An-Nusra or to Jund al-Sham or to any other opposition or mujahideen or fighting factions. So to try to tell me that you did your research, akhi, your research is totally bogus and not accepted. 2 questions remaining, but the time is out, so I'll try my level best to answer them tomorrow. And until that, actually, let me rephrase that. We will try to answer them on Saturday, because tomorrow is Friday and there's no show on Friday. So until Saturday, same time. في أمان الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Peace of Allah and blessings of Allah be on Muhammad Habib Allah. Peace of Allah and blessings of Allah be on our Prophet Rasulullah. Be on Muhammad Habib Allah.